Hey guys, Taylor here. So today is day 3 of building a website from scratch, and today I'm actually going to talk a little bit more than usual. It's going to be a little bit different. So today we're going to get into developing in PHP. So up until now we've done HTML and CSS, and these languages are fundamentally different than PHP in that they are run on the client side. So just a little bit of background as far as how the web works. We have languages that run actually within the browser, and those languages are basically CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. And then we also have languages that run on the server. Let me back up a second. So the way that the web works is if you were to visit a site like Facebook.com, your web browser actually makes an HTTP request to a computer, one of Facebook's computers, that knows how to respond to that request, and the response is just a bunch of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and that is client-side languages, and the browser knows what to do with those languages. And so that's what we worked with so far. In order to start working with a back-end language like PHP, we actually need a web server, and so generally the way that it works is you'll rent or you purchase a web server on a monthly basis. But what we can do for development purposes, as long as you have a computer, which I'm assuming you do, is just download some software and actually turn our computer into a little web server. So that's part of what we're going to do today, and then we're just going to write a very simple PHP program that just echoes hello world and then maybe does a few other little very small calculations. So most of what we're going to do today is just download software called XAMPP, and that's basically the web server that allows us to run our website or run the PHP. So that'll be most of the process today. Alright, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks. Alright, so downloading XAMPP, it's just Google XAMPP. It'll be the very first thing that comes up. Click on it, select whatever you're downloading for, whether it's Windows, Linux, or Apple. They're very similar. I'm on Apple, so I'll go ahead and download, and I'll be back in a second once it's in XAMPP. Type in our password. Don't know what my password is. On Mac, I'll just use the DMG installer. On Windows, it'll be a similar process. Just walk through the process. Make sure you make a note of where it's installing. On the Mac, its default is Applications XAMPP. It'll be something similar to on Windows, wherever it regularly installs. So this allows you to install some free stuff, but we don't need that for now. Set up again. I'll install it. So now it's installing. Okay, so now it'll make it so you can launch XAMPP, and it'll launch it right into It'll launch it in here. Now we'll want here's the interface. It'll look a little bit different on Windows, but basically the same thing. Apache web servers running. That's all we need for now. So now the only tricky thing here is finding where to write the actual code, and it's really not that hard. On Windows, it's going to be very similar. It's going to be wherever you downloaded XAMPP to. There should be a folder in there called. I downloaded it to my applications. So let me open this up. That's the wrong applications. So I downloaded it to my applications. We should see XAMPP, and then we should see this htdocs. So this is where we're going to put our website, our whole
website in this htdocs folder. So that's where you're going to be working. It'll be the same thing on Windows. So we need to copy our ridiculous folder into here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll move it into there, and then you can see we have ridiculous. So now we should be able to go to localhost and then ridiculous, and it'll pull up our index.html file. And we're actually going to want to rename this to index.php instead of HTML. Okay, use PHP, and now it's going to interpret this as PHP. So now we can actually start writing our PHP code. And to do that, we just need to go into our folder. So I'm going to go to Applications, XAMPP, htdocs, and ridiculous. And then here's our index.php. And here we're going to, and alright, so writing some PHP, what we're going to do is use our opening PHP tags and closing PHP tags. That's the syntax. It's a less than sign, question mark PHP, whatever that is. So to write our first program, we're just going to say echo, heck yeah, I just wrote a program. And let me see. So I have some sort of syntax error, and yes I do. This is a variable. If it starts like this, if it starts with the $sign, that means a variable, otherwise it's a function, so that should be a function. So we see, heck yeah, I just wrote a program. So cool, we just wrote a very simple program. If you want to make this a little more difficult, we can say something like, okay, we'll say team equals Panthers, and then we'll say if team equals, and you'll notice there's a difference here between the single equals, that's you're setting the variable there, and here you're actually testing the variable. So we're saying if the team equals Panthers, then we're going to echo win, win, win. I'm a big Panthers fan, so and then we'll say if the team equals Saints, not a big, we'll say echo boo, get off the field. Alright, so if you can't guess, what do you think it's going to echo out? Since it equals Panthers, right now we should say win, win, win. Oh, wait. So there you see, it actually said, I messed it up, so it says win, 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 get off the field. The problem here is I'm setting it equal, so this is defaulting to true, but it should say, it should just be, okay, win, 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 there we go. But if we change that to Saints, then it says, boo, get off the field. So let's just have a little fun with that. But that's basically all we're going to do today. Thanks.